This is actually one of my favorite new products. I've actually known about FulMin and the source of it for about 20 years. We used to, and still do, I guess, take the powder source of the fulvic minerals and we put them in a little bit of it, 5 milligrams of it in the Metazyme. So you've actually been getting some fulvic trace minerals in Metazyme since the very first time you've taken it. In your Metazyme, do you see little black specks? Are there little black specks in your Metazyme? That's the black mineral powder that's actually used to make the FulMin mineral. So let's start. So introducing FulMin. Now this is just a very short presentation, but it's a clinical review of 4 different clinical studies that we did on the FulMin in a hospital in Japan. I'll introduce that hospital to you in a bit. But we're going to cover just these 4 topics. What is FulMin? And then we're going to show you proof, scientific studies of the efficacy of FulMin. This is studies on the actual product on actual patients, okay? This is not in vitro or in vivo in a laboratory or with rats or mice or monkeys, or it's not a derivative of this product. It's actually this product that we gave to the patients in Japan, and then we'll show you the clinical results. Then proof of efficacy in the blood plasma with urates, and then the safety data. Okay, so this is going to be our introduction to FulMin. We'll keep it very scientific. This is the story. This is what you guys want to tell your friends and neighbors about what FulMin is, okay? Well, I understand that in direct selling you have to have the story of why something's cool and why it's unique. And it doesn't get any more cooler than FulMin, okay? How many of you have seen trace mineral supplements being sold before? Organic trace minerals, right? There are several companies around the world who are selling trace mineral supplements. Most of them come from a company called TRC, the Rockland Corporation, okay? The Rockland Corporation, or TRC, is down in Arizona. It's, if you know or have a map of the United States, Arizona is below Utah. So it's next to California in the desert, all right? One of the things that TRC talks about is how ancient and old their minerals are. In fact, they used to call it Jurassic juice because the minerals were from the Jurassic era. Okay? Think about that. The Jurassic era was 60 million years ago. Okay? What is a plant that is now 60 million years old? What is it? A rock. You're right. It's a rock. Can you pick up a rock and eat it? And is it going to be good for your body? No, of course not. They call them plant minerals, but they're so wrong. Okay? Once a plant turns into a rock, in other words, once it's bonded with carbon atoms, it's not a rock anymore. And it's actually bad for you. Do you guys know where coal comes from? What is coal? Coal are plants that are like 100 million years old. What about oil? Oil is the same thing. They're plants that's about 100 million years old. Would you drink oil? If you drink oil, would you live or will you die? Yeah. And yet oils are plants, right? So the Rockland Corporation is trying to tell you that ancient 60 million year old plants are good for you. And it's not good for you anymore. This is where FulMin is very unique. Can everybody read this? 10,000 years ago, there's a very fertile valley in southern Utah near the shores of what used to be called Lake Bonneville. It was a great inland sea. It took up about 3/4 of Utah, about half of Idaho, about half of Nevada, what's called the Great Basin. The Great Basin stretches all the way from Reno, Nevada, all the way to Salt Lake City, and then all the way south to the Grand Canyon, and all the way north to the Bear River. So half of Idaho, almost all of Utah, most of Nevada was a huge inland sea.
Mama.
And right at the southern border of Utah was the beach, the shore of this inland sea. And it was very fertile and very lush and lots of plants. But about 10,000 years ago, an island in the middle of this midland sea called Mount Nebo erupted, a big volcanic eruption. And what happened is it opened up a big valley in the north, what we call today the Bear River Valley, and it created a drain, and the sea drained into the Snake River and then the Columbia River and then into the Pacific Ocean. So the inland sea drained, and now you're left with just the salty deposit of what we call Salt Lake City. So in Salt Lake City you have the Great Salt Lake. Okay, it's still a pretty big lake, and it's salty because all of the ocean water from that inland sea drained there. But what happened is when Mount Nebo erupted, it buried most of southern Utah in about 6 feet of volcanic ash and destroyed the whole landscape. Destroyed all the forests. It buried everything. That was 10,000 years ago. Utah today is still mostly desert because of this eruption. In fact, it's a beautiful desert. It's red, kind of like Mars. In fact, usually when they make movies about Mars, they film it in southern Utah, because southern Utah has these beautiful red rock formations. But underneath the surface, about 6 feet underground, you'll find these ancient plant beds. And they're only 10,000 years old, okay? They're not 60 million years old. So the material, when you pick it up in your hand, it's flaky. It looks like broken leaves. And when you analyze it, it still has enzymes. It still has amino acids. It has not bonded with carbon yet. It's black because it's fermenting. Has anybody left like spinach in your refrigerator for 3 or 4 weeks? What happens to spinach when it starts to ferment? It turns black. All rich plants turn black when they start to ferment, okay? But it takes about 25 to 30 million years for them to bond with the carbon atoms to turn them into rocks. Once that happens, they're not good for your body anymore. They're not a living organism anymore. FulMin is still a living organism. It is still plant. So we can honestly say these are organic plant trace minerals. Okay? Now what makes the FulMin unique is because the richness of these plants, as they fermenting, they created something called fumic acid or fulvic acid. Okay? The combination of enzymes, trace minerals, and amino acids, as they ferment, they become acidic and they form this fulvic acid. So how this was discovered was back in 1864, men that were digging in southern Utah for gold they dug through the ash and they came across these black plants. And they thought it might be coal, but it didn't burn. When they stuck it in a fire, it wouldn't burn. So it wasn't coal. So they forgot it until 1941. A farmer used this black mineral in his garden, and he had a record harvest with no disease in his garden for his crops. So scientists came down to study what this black mineral was, and at the University of Utah, they discovered that it contains 72 trace minerals, 12 amino acids, and active bacteria. So what they thought was actually dirt was not dirt, but old plants. And that's what we make. We have the exclusive rights to this product to Asia. We're the only company that can sell this in Asia. So that's the cool story about what FulMin is. Can we turn this off? Please turn the back one on, maybe, and this one on. All right.
小的，最小。
All right, next page. So FulMin is the black ancient power untainted by man for 10,000 years. Thank you. We harvested from the veins of the untouched ancient plant deposits buried under the bentonite clay and volcanic ash in the virgin soils of southern Utah. Then we soak them in water to leach all of the minerals out of it. That's all it is. It's a water process. I'll show you the plant later. FulMin's been tested to find and contain concentrations of fulvic acid, about 12%. That's really high, one of the highest sources of fulvic acid you can get on the planet. There's a Chinese company that says they have a fulvic acid deposit from mainland China. It's only 3% fulvic acid. Okay? The zeolite is only 1% fulvic acid. So we have 12%. We add a little bit of grapefruit flavor, and that's the product. That's it. Just the pure water-based liquid trace minerals with a little bit of grapefruit for flavor. So here's the black plant-like substance. It's stored in these underground containers. We soak it in water in these stainless steel stirring tanks, and then we bottle it. That's it. No chemicals, no harsh manufacturing processes, nothing. Just soaked in water and then bottled. In 2006, we had a man in Japan use this product who had chronic heart disease, and it cured him of his heart disease. And his doctor was so surprised, the doctor asked us what the product was and if he could use it at the hospital, and he volunteered to test the product for us. So, at a Japanese hospital, right here, this is the, hold on, I'm going to read it for you in Japanese. Oruto Medical Kenkyu Gaku. Okay, this is the Ultra Medical Research Center in Tokyo. Tokyo Chuoku Nerima. It's part of the Waseda University in Tokyo. Right here, the Oruto Medical Research Clinic of Tokyo, Japan. This was the first clinical study they did. They gave 6 patients 20 ml per day for 21 days. They tested the triglyceride levels before and after 3 weeks. So just 20 ml a day for 3 weeks, they dropped triglyceride levels 25%. You guys, even prescription drugs can't do that in 3 weeks. So this is more effective at reducing triglyceride levels than prescription drugs. Remnant lipoprotein, RLP cholesterol. Same thing, 6 people, 20 milliliters a day for 21 days. Before, after. Almost a 19% drop in RLP cholesterol at 20 ml per day. Non-esterified fatty acids, what we call NEFA fats. 10% drop in 20 days. There is no prescription drug that can do this. Non-esterified fatty acids are the most probably leading cause of heart disease. And the heart disease medications out there cannot drop non-esterified fatty acids. We dropped it by 10% in 20 days. This is the amazing result. PAI clot inhibitor. Most heart disease is caused by blood clots. Thrombosis, what we call thrombocyte aggregation or thrombosis. When you take a prescription called, I just forgot it. Coumadin. Coumadin is your blood thinner, right? Coumadin works as a PA1 clot inhibitor. And yet, Coumadin can only inhibit blood clots by about 18%. At 20 ml for 3 weeks, 21 days, we dropped PAI1 clot inhibiting factors by 30%. Again, prescription drugs can't do this, you guys. This is more effective at treating heart disease than any prescription drug out there. So here's the safety data we collected. We asked 60 patients, right here, 60 patients. After 21 days, we put them on 20 ml per day, and then we asked them, do you get fevers? Did you get chills? Did you get skin irritation, sluggishness, agitation, stomach ache, gas, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea? Any of these symptoms? Look at the numbers. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. No symptoms, no side effects at the regular dose. So then we looked for safety at triple the dose. 60 ml per day, 3 times the dose, okay? We did a CBC, testing for bilirubin, ALT levels, liver, so in other words, liver and kidney toxicity, and then we asked the same questions. Look at these. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Triple the dose, no side effects. That's FulMin. We've also done studies on this product for diabetes and its reduction of HbA1c levels. On average, HbA1c levels drop from a 7.8 to a 5.7. So we basically can cure diabetes with this product too. A 7.8 is type 2 diabetic, 5.7 is slightly high but fairly normal. Good HbA1c is about 5.5. Okay? So that's FulMin. Thank you.